guys, welcome to Amity Tracks. I just want to do a real quick review, something that came out on Friday, which is the Beach Boys Sail on Sailor 1972 Sessions. Now, what this is the two record, and there's also a little EP in there version. Now, I know there is a huge, I know it's on like 5 CDs. I don't even know how many vinyl records. I that's not this. This is the trimmed down version. That larger version has tons of outtakes. I mean, pretty much the whole sessions and some live material from that era. This is basically just the two records and the EP that came out of these sessions that were held in '72, which would have been Carl and the Passions, So Tough, and Holland. And then, of course, the Mount Vernon and Fairway, a fairy tale EP that Brian Wilson put together. So that's what's on here. And, I never had a copy of Carl and the Passions. I mean, I know the record. I've just never been a huge fan, but I do love Holland. I have this sort of battered version of Holland here. I think Holland is the last great Beach Boys album, really. And so, I was very excited to to hear that this was coming out, kind of a remastered, real clean version. And these have been great sets. They've been putting out a series of these sets. I also do have here Feel Flows, which was 1969 to 71 sessions, basically Sunflower and Surfs Up. This is also fantastic as well. I mean, these are really good sets. But yeah, so this one, let's kind of talk about what's included. And let's talk about that EP real quick, which is an interesting story. So this is the Mount Vernon and Fairway, a fairy tale. So this is the Holland sessions where the group actually went out to Holland, and they had two, really just on these two records they had two additional members who actually contributed quite a bit: Blondie Chaplin and Ricky Fattar. And well, like on Holland, "Sail on Sailor," which was the hit, so to speak, was a Blondie Chaplin song. So these guys actually contributed quite a bit, added a little bit of more rock and grit to the sound. But for the Holland record, they actually went to Holland to record. Is why it's called Holland. And they dragged Brian Wilson along, who wasn't in great shape at that point. Didn't contribute a lot at all to the actual album, but he was pretty obsessed with this. So this is like a 12-minute, mostly spoken word, but with some music, really strange, kind of like you said, a fairy tale, some magical creature that's in the radio that I don't know. It's out there. It's really strange, and he has the Jack Riley, their manager, do the narration on it. And the story goes, Brian was sort of consumed with this, and he was listening kind of nonstop to Randy Newman's "Sail Away," and he basically had this like on a loop. and, and what Wilson said later is he could only write this and put this together when he had Newman's "Sail Away" and when he was listening to it. So he was listening to that and writing this. It was the only way he could write this, he said. It's just kind of fascinating stuff. He wanted this to be on Holland, but cooler heads prevailed. I believe it was Carl Wilson who had the idea that, hey, why don't we put it on its own little EP? Maybe we could package it with Holland, and that's how it was originally sold. So it's kind of cool, that it's there in this set. It's an oddity. It's not something you're going to pull out a whole lot, but it's interesting that it's there. But yeah, this set sounds fantastic. Now, I especially listened to Holland all the way through. My favorite song on there, of course, is "Traitor." Just that gorgeous, I mean, transcendently gorgeous Carl Wilson song, and it just sounds beautiful on here. I hear things on here that I didn't really even hear on my original, my old copy of Holland I have. So if you're interested in the sound quality, I mean, this sounds fantastic. And the packaging is great. I mean, I love that cover. I think it's a great cover. You know, you got the 2 records in there, the EPs in there that I showed you. It also comes with this this great insert. It's very similar to what came with the Fuel Flows set too. You know, you've got some information on some of the tracks, but more importantly, it's got the original album art from these 2 records, which I appreciate because I want to have that too. So here's Holland, here's Carlin, The Passion's So Tough. You've also got inside here some fantastic, really, detailed, in-depth liner notes about these sessions. So yeah, this is just a fantastic package. I mean, it really is. I highly recommend it. If you're a fan of this era of the Beach Boys, with me, it's really between 1965 and 73. That era, fascinates me. I'll probably just do a video on that era of the Beach Boys at some point. But like I say, Holland was recorded in 72, but released early 73. And that, I think, was the last gasps, the last great Beach Boys record where they're really kind of stretching out and doing some, more daring things. It's interesting that, Brian Wilson was in such bad shape through a lot of this period that it forced the other guys to step up. And it's pretty fascinating to hear Dennis Wilson, Carl Wilson, even Mike Love, Al Jardine, all these guys kind of step up and contribute in their own way. It would have been interesting if they had kept going in this direction, but then they had a huge hit with Endless Summer and became a nostalgia act, basically. But we'll tell that story a little more in a future video. But yeah, real quick, I highly recommend this. Sounds beautiful and it's fantastic. Well, all right, guys. We'll be on our regular schedule this week. I think what do we got coming up? I think it's time for another year, so it's time for 1974, I believe, coming up. And then the winner of our poll. Remember, we had a poll in our community section open for about a week, and so the winner of that poll, we'll do a video on that probably next week. So I've got some good stuff coming up. Anyway, please do subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. Help us do what we want to do. And, hit the like button on the videos, and hit the bell for notifications, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time on Amity Tracks.